is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Nurmi Sheikh.
Protests against Israel's assault on Gaza have rocked campuses from coast to coast over the past week amid an intensifying police crackdown. At the University of Texas in Austin, school officials called in local and state police, including some on horseback, who violently broke up a student encampment on campus. At least 50 people were arrested, including at least one journalist. Some faculty at UT Austin are going on strike today to protest the police crackdown. Meanwhile, the Gaza Solidarity encampment at Columbia University continues a week after over 100 students were arrested in a failed attempt by the university administration to clear the demonstration. University President Minouche Shafik had set on Tuesday a midnight deadline to reach an agreement on clearing an encampment, but the school extended negotiations for another 48 hours. On a visit to campus Wednesday, House Speaker Mike Johnson called on Shafik to resign.
I am here today joining my colleagues and calling on President Shafik to resign if she cannot immediately bring order to this chaos. As Speaker of the House, I am committing today that the Congress will not be silent as Jewish students are expected to run for their lives and stay home from their classes hiding in fear.
For more, we're joined in New York by Sarah King, member of Columbia University Apartheid Divest. She is Jewish, one of the students arrested at the encampment last week, who's now suspended. We're also joined by Joshua Sklar, a graduate student, University of Texas Austin, member of Jewish Voice for Peace Austin, who was at Wednesday's protest. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Josh, there were more than 50 arrests at UT Austin. If you can respond to the House Speaker, who's saying that these encampments around the country are anti-Semitic and pro-Hamas.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I was there with a contingent of Jewish students, and we were received very warmly. There were even Jewish Zionists there, and they were not harassed at all. In fact, I would say that they probably felt safer than the majority of protesters.
Sarah King, if you could describe what's happening now at Columbia University and your own position. You were suspended?
Yes, I was one of the over 100 students who was arrested as part of a peaceful protest in the Gaza Solidarity encampment, and I'm one of the students who's been suspended as well. So I'm currently not allowed to be on campus, and I have to say it's the camp itself is very beautiful. It's been a real place of interfaith celebration and solidarity in support of the people of Gaza, who are now at over 200 days of genocide. But the threat is really coming from Columbia University, which has sent the police on hundreds of its students who are entrusted to its care.
And can you talk, Sarah, about what's happened, how you got suspended and your treatment? I've been talking to a number of Columbia and Barnard students who said that some of them were given 15 minutes to get out of their dorm and your meal card canceled as you're banned from campus as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm one of the lucky ones because I live off campus, but many students live in Columbia housing, and so they were evicted from their homes or locked out from their homes, probably illegally in many cases. We're looking into it, and they lost access to their normal food. I had an undergraduate who is low income and was staying with me because she was evicted with no notice and lost access to her meal plan. And it's really very concerning the way Columbia uses the threat of, initially it was just quote unquote the threat of housing, the threat of loss of food, to try to, as a cudgel to get students into the correct political line that is best for its pocketbook, its investment portfolio. And now they're threatening to set the National Guard on us, risking another Jackson State, another Kent State, where students have been killed because the National Guard were set on students. And they're willing to risk the threat of violence at their hands because we're not, consistent with what's best for their board of trustees or for their portfolios.
And Sarah, what about your response to Mike Johnson being invited to speak at Columbia University on campus yesterday?
Yeah, first I think it's shameful that he was allowed there. Like, I myself am not allowed on campus. I'm one of many talented and promising students with bright futures who have been banned from campus. But Mike Johnson, who is an open racist and white supremacist, along with people like Gavin McInnes, the head of the Proud Boys, they were welcomed on campus yesterday. And to me, that really tells the story of what's at stake here, which is that the students fighting for Palestinian liberation are part of an interracial coalition. So many Jewish students, Muslim students, Black, Brown, Arab students working together for the cause of freedom on one side, and then something like anti-Semitism, but there's no substance to it at all. And I think anybody who came to campus and saw the worst prosecution that the Jewish students on campus are facing is from Columbia University. We were disproportionately banned by Columbia because so many of us are part of the Gaza Solidarity Encampment trying to prevent a genocide in our name.
And Joshua Sklar, you wrote a piece in the Austin Chronicle, "We Need a Ceasefire Now" it was called. The subtitle, "Anti-Palestinian Violence is Not on the Other Side of the Globe. It's Here in Austin, too." If you can talk about that and how protesters were treated yesterday. You had riot police on horseback?
Yeah, I think that there's been this narrative that there's been rampant anti-Semitism, and this simply is not the case. The people who are being targeted are Muslim students, Arab students, and especially Palestinian students. Police came in on horseback and they attacked protesters. I heard from other students that during an earlier part of the protest, they were clearly targeting brown people and women. I wasn't there personally, but this is what I heard.
Let me ask Sarah King a final question. We have 10 seconds, and that is 48-hour extension goes till tonight. What are the plans? 10 seconds, Sarah.
I think most of the people at the encampment have already agreed to risk arrest, and they won't move unless moved by force or until Columbia concedes to our demands, which are for divestment, amnesty, and financial transparency.
We want to thank you both for being with us. Sarah King, Columbia University Apartheid Divest, and Joshua Sklar at UT Austin. I'm Mimi Goodman with Noreen Sheikh.